Hello students, how are you? Hope you are doing good. I know some of you must be bored sitting at your home, not able to come to school, right? Even I'm also bored. I'm also missing all my dear students. So students, today I have brought very interesting topic of social science. That's pallors and meridians. And I have very interesting thing for you guys. So are you guys excited to see what I have with me? Yes, I have this globe. If you clearly observe, this globe is spinning. Now it's spinning with the help of this thing. It's called axle. Similarly, Earth also has this imaginary axle, which is known as axis. There are 2 points of this axis. The one at the top, that is the one here, is known as North Pole, and the one at the bottom is known as the South Pole. Now, if you notice this globe, you can see some lines running vertically and horizontally. So, what are these lines and how do they help us and why they are on the globe? Any idea? My dear students, these lines help us to locate any position on the earth. Now, I'll start with latitudes. My dear students, the line which divide the earth into two equal halves. Yes, there is one horizontal line which is dividing our earth into two equal halves is known as equator. I have something to show again, a sort of a diagram for you guys. See, this is our earth. This is the horizontal line known as equator. It is dividing our earth into two equal halves. So the portion from the equator to the North Pole is known as northern hemisphere. The portion from the equator to the South Pole, is known as southern hemisphere. And the lines, if you can clearly see these lines drawn up till North Pole and drawn up till South Pole, these are imaginary lines which are running parallel. And I hope you have learned in your maths what are parallel lines, right? Which do not intersect each other, which do not crisscross. So these are these parallel lines running up till North and the South Pole. These are known as pallors of latitude. Now these latitudes are measured in degree. Yes, it's measured in degree. Equator is 0 degree latitude. Equator is 0 degree latitude. It is the longest line which divides our earth. Equator is also known as Great Circle. Equator is also known as Great Circle. Now, how to mark these lines? You must be thinking that what are the degrees of these lines that ma'am has drawn? See, equator is 0 degree. Anything going from equator to the North Pole, any line will be marked 1 degree north if it's in the northern hemisphere. And similarly, if it's in the southern hemisphere, it would be marked 1 degree south. Then similarly, it will go on 2, 3, 4, 5 up till 90. Yes, up till 90 degree. 90 degrees south, that's your South Pole. 90 degree north, that's your North Pole. Now, we have 4 important lines of latitudes. They are, see, since we have studied just now equator, above equator in the northern hemisphere, we have Tropic of Cancer, which is located at 23.5 degree north. Why north? Because it's in the northern hemisphere. Then similarly, downwards in our southern hemisphere, we have 23.5 degrees south. This line is known as Tropic of Capricorn. Now again coming up in this northern hemisphere, Arctic Circle. This line is 66.5 degree north. This is known as Arctic Circle. Similarly, in the southern hemisphere, we have Antarctic Circle, 66.5 degree south. Exactly, south. Class students, it's very important to mark north and south because you must know where these lines are located. Now, after this, we have lines running from north to south pole. Now, what are these lines are called? Since they are long lines, if you can see here, it's a long lines running from north to south pole. They are also imaginary lines which runs from north to south pole. They are known as longitude. Correct. They are known as longitudes. Now, what does this longitude does? They also help us to know the position, right? So, the longitude which is located at Royal Observatory at Greenwich in London is known as 0 degree longitude. If you remember, we had this 0 degree latitude which is known as equator. Similarly, we have 0 degree longitude which is known as prime meridian. So now what does this prime meridian does? If you remember, equator has divided our earth into two equal halves. That was northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Now this longitude divides, longitude or prime meridian, 0 degree longitude divides our earth into eastern hemisphere and western hemisphere. Now if you clearly observe this globe, you can see networks of line here. Networks of line. All this is network of line. So all this is known as grid. So network of line is known as grid. And the point where this longitude and latitude intersect each other is known as coordinate. Coordinate help us to know the position or any place anywhere in the earth. So that's all for today, class. I hope you have liked this. See you next time. Bye-bye.